So today we are going to be learning how to do the tulip stitch. So that consists of this little white part, which will be the soil, the green, which will be the stem, and the pink, which will be the tulip. So in order to do this, you want a white yarn, a pink yarn, and a green yarn. If you want a different colour flower, you can swap out the pink for any other colour you want. And then you just want a crochet hook which matches the thickness of your wool. So for me, I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook. So for our foundation chain, we are going to be using our white yarn. So we're just going to start our chain. And then the number of stitches that we do in this chain will depend on what work you want to do. So what I just showed you was making a baby blanket. So I did 150 stitches in my chain. But for this, I'm just going to do about 15. Just because I'm only going to do a swatch just to show you how to do the stitches. So how many stitches in your chain you do will be dependent on you, but you need to make sure that it is a multiple of 3. So I've done 3 so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So once you have done your chain, what we're going to do for the next round is we're going to do a double crochet into every single stitch. So to finish off the chain, we want to do 2 more chains. So it will be your multiple of 3 plus 2. So I did 15 plus 2. I now have 17 stitches on this chain. So now starting on the next row, we're going to yarn over and we are going to skip this very first stitch, and we're going to crochet into the second stitch along, and we're just going to do a double crochet, and we're going to yarn over again, and we're going to continue this along our chain. So we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, a double crochet in the next, and we're going to continue this all the way to the end. So now we are on our very last stitch, so we are going to yarn over and we're going to insert our hook, but we're only going to pull through the yarn for 1 loop. So as we've still got 2 loops on here, we're going to swap over colour yarn. So I'm just going to attach the green next, and I like to just tie a knot to join the 2 colours. And now to finish off the double crochet, we're going to use the green yarn to pull it through so it's nice and hidden in that last stitch. So now we've got the green yarn, we're going to do a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to turn our work, so we should have the base of double crochets we just did, the base of double crochets that we just did, and then our chain 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and into this very first stitch we're going to do a double crochet. And then what we're going to do is, if you look at the top of your white stitches, you've got 1, 2, 3 stitches. So we're going to skip the first 2, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to do a double crochet into this 3rd stitch. And you see how we're starting to make a little V shape? So now we're going to chain 2, we're going to yarn over and do a double crochet into that very same stitch. We're going to keep repeating this, so we're going to skip 2 stitches, do a double crochet into the 3rd, chain 2, and then do a double crochet back into that very same stitch. And we're going to continue this all the way along. So we're going to skip 2, do double crochet in the 3rd, chain 2, and then double crochet back into that very same stitch. So when we get to this very last stitch, we're just going to yarn over and do a double crochet. But like with the white, we're just going to pull it through the first loop, and then we're going to cut off our yarn. And we're going to attach the pink yarn. So same as before, I'm just going to do a double knot. And then to get our ends out of the way, we're going to now finish off that double crochet with the pink stitch. So now you should have your foundation chain and your double crochets in white, your little V shapes which will form the stems of your flowers in green. So now for the pink round, we're going to do a chain 2. We're going to turn the work. So now what we're going to be doing is working into these little V shapes here. So the very first one, admittedly there's not much of a V shape, but we want to work into this very first space here. So what we're going to do is yarn over, double crochet, but we're only going to pull it through that first loop. And we want to do 5 of these into this same gap. So I've just done 1, 2, so we've got 3 stitches on our hook. We keep going until we've got 5. So once we've got 5 little stitches on our hook, we then pull through all 5 at once. And that pulls them all nice and tight together. So we're going to do a chain 2. And we're going to repeat this into this next stitch here, into this little gap where my finger is. So we're going to yarn over, do a double crochet but only pull through that first loop. We're going to do this 5 times. 3, 4, and 5. So yet again we should have the stitch left over from when we chain 2, and then 5 of our double crochets, and we're going to pull through all 6 of these. And we're going to keep repeating it. So chain 2, and we're going to do 5 more double crochets in the next stitch, along and across all of these stems until we get to the end. So now we are working into this very last stitch. So yarn over, and we're just going to do 5 more double crochets together. And 5. And then here we're going to pull our yarn all the way through, and then to change colour yarn here, this is where I'd do it. So I'd cut my yarn here, and then I would reattach the white yarn, and then we'd do a chain 1 and continue doing our white yarn. So after we have finished these 3 rows, so the double crochet of white, the green stems and the pink petals, the pattern just keeps repeating itself. So where we finished off here, where we would have attached our white yarn, we would then do a chain 2 with the white yarn and then do a double crochet across the top. So what we would be doing, we would do 1 double crochet at the top of the petal and then 2 double crochets in between the petal. We'll do that. So 1 double crochet on top, 2 in between this hole, 1 double crochet on top, 2 in between this hole, and we'll do that all the way across, and then we will just repeat what we've already done. We'll do the same with the green and the same with the pink row, and that will create this little tulip pattern. So you can see on the bigger piece of work how everything just keeps repeating itself. So for me, I only do 1 row of white, so that is like the soil. So when you do it like that, as you can see, this row here, the tulip pops out towards you, but on the next row at the top it pops out away from you. So if you want the popping out to all face the same direction, what you want to do is 2 rows of double crochets for the white. So here I've just done 1 in between each row because I like my work to be reversible, but if you want all of the popping out to face the same direction, you want to do 2 rows of double crochet for the white. Then hopefully after your pattern builds up, it should look something just like this.